just a quick thank you from all of us on the show and me personally. Whether it's Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, just so you know, every time anybody did that, it expanded the reach of the post. Even by hitting like, just a little heart button, it expands the reach of the post so that more people find it. And just by simply hitting like, you guys help spread the message of Lil Mo. And I was so thankful that so many of you guys did that, because as you know, he means a great deal to me, and it seems like so many of you as well. And tonight I just felt like it was so appropriate to have a little toast for him, because I feel like we all couldn't be with him and his family, specifically his mom, Sanzi, who is a single mom, and Mo was her only child. So, you know, tonight is a little bit of a supportive group effort that we can be all together and be with Sanzi and with his family. So I thank you very dearly for all of that, because even just by being here, you guys did something special. And, you know, today is an interesting day for me. I'm off tomorrow and Friday, so my brother and I had a fishing trip planned just to go to upstate New York in the Adirondacks and do a little fishing tonight, sunset, and tomorrow. And I just felt like, wow, what a kind of perfect setting to do this. This has been set up for a while, but I wanted to do something, and this felt really appropriate. That behind me is this amazing lake right around sunset, and, you know, we get to, in a couple of minutes, toast together for Mo. So just a little background. Mo called our show when we were on at nights about 5 years ago. He had turned 14, and so this was when he was 9 years old, and he called us at nights. And the best part about Lil Mo was his sense of humor. He has this infectious laugh, and he made us all laugh, but he also liked to get us. You know, he liked to tease Mraz, and he liked to tease me, and he was in on all of the jokes. And at 9 years old, it's a pretty cool thing. It's a pretty kind of high-level thing at 9 to kind of play with the big boys. So yesterday, I was outside in my lawn after dinner, and I got the text from Jeremy Kahn of 105.7, who, if you heard today's show, you heard Jeremy on today's show with me, and he has been with Lil Mo and Sanzi for weeks, months, as we've seen Mo's health degrade a little bit. And he's an amazing, amazing human being. And Jeremy texted me last night, and I was out on the lawn, and I got the text that Mo had passed. And, you know, I kind of stood there stunned. I knew it was coming, but I didn't know when. And I thought maybe, you know, for another miracle, because he had beaten cancer 3 other times in his life. But then the wave of sadness pushed over me, and I just, alone in the lawn, I'm just kind of crying. And, you know, thinking about not having Mo and thinking about all the amazing things that he did, and, you know, I'm just kind of sobbing. And I swear, this kind of moment of peace passed over me, and it just felt like the storm had blown through, and it was just still. And I was kind of just at this really peaceful, silent moment, and I looked above my house, and there was the most orange sunset with just a cloud above my house, and it was bright orange, like Oriole orange. And I just stopped, and I looked, and I started smiling. I said, that's Orioles orange. I know Orioles orange. That's Lil Mo's favorite baseball team that is now playing. He got me, and he's laughing. And I just said, boy, And last night was supposed to be the night that we reviewed the movie for this week's sports movie, Mothership at the Movies. And I had not watched it yet, so last night was supposed to be after dinner, sit down on the couch, and I was going to watch it. And the movie was Angels in the Outfield. Now, we had this movie set up for weeks. 3 weeks ago, we set up the schedule, so this was going to be the week for Angels in the Outfield, which is a movie about a couple of young kids who come from dire situations, and they need the help of angels for their baseball team to win. And I sat there, and after I had another good cry with my wife on the couch, and I just looked up, I said, he got me again. Angels in the Outfield was the movie I was supposed to watch last night. And I just smiled. And he has this amazing sense of humor, and I just believe in those little things. So this morning, we do the show, and he was always good at ribbing Mraz, always so good at ribbing Mraz. And he's a huge Orioles fan, and his rival is the Yankees. In football, his rival is the Steelers. In baseball, it's the Yankees. And through this Marlins craziness, who is going to play at Camden Yards tonight? The New York Yankees. And he threw out the first pitch before a Yankees game, before a Yankees-Orioles game at Camden Yards. And Mraz brought this up. He said, he goes, Mo got me again. So I think about Mo, and I think about this amazing sense of humor and joy and infectious laughter that always came through. And that is what drew people to him. And I think about the last 24 hours that Mo has got us laughing again, and I just hear his laughter from up above. And just as an anecdote, when I got to go down and see him in Baltimore, that was a big deal for me, because I had talked to Mo over the phone on the show, but I had never actually met Mo. And I got to actually meet him, and I kind of felt like I was meeting my hero. I mean, he is my hero, but, in a 14-year-old boy, you're not usually kind of nervous. And I pulled up to Mo's apartment in Glen Burnie, Maryland, and I walked in the apartment, and my wife was with me, and I met his mom, and Jeremy came out to say hello to me, and kind of led me into Mo's room, and there's Mo in his bed, and I just felt like, man, I'm getting to meet an angel here. Like, this is a hero. This is a role model. This is somebody that's more special than anybody that I've ever actually met on earth. And that day was one of the greatest days of my life. It'll forever be one of the greatest days of my life. And after I was done, man, I cried because, I knew Mo was not in great health. And I cried because I knew what Mo had been through, but not with him after I had left. And so many of you, said so many nice things about me going down there and seeing Mo, and, thanking me for doing that. And I really appreciate that a great deal. That means a lot to me. But I want you to know that I was thankful that he let me in. I was thankful he made time for me. That meant more to me than I think maybe it meant to him. And everything that he may have gotten out of that visit, I got tenfold. And, even though Mo's not with us anymore, I promise that Mo's going to be with me and this show that hopefully all you guys can connect with every single day for the rest of my career and the rest of my life. And that's a promise. And I've got a couple of ideas of how we can regularly remember Mo. And you're going to hear his voice on my show, and you'll hear it regularly, and you'll hear that laugh regularly. And just because we lost him yesterday and he left us doesn't mean that he's not really with us. And that was the one big lesson that I took. So tonight, I'm getting so many comments, and I thank you so much for them. And I wish I could read every single one of them. So many of you are just saying, God bless Mo, and prayers are with Mo, and he was an amazing person. And I really thank you for all of that, because I just think the positivity right now in this country, in this world, is so valuable. And you guys are bringing this, and Mo brought this. And just know that as you pass that along. I've had people just say, Mo kind of changed my life. He changed my attitude. He changed my demeanor. He changed how I treated people. He changed how I looked at my life. If you do that even a little bit, then you carried through Mo's legacy. And he's that important. You know, he taught us some amazing lessons in his very short 14 years on Earth. You know, what he accomplished in 14 years is more than most people accomplish in 10 lifetimes. And as a 14-year-old kid, he changed our lives and made us better, changed our perspective, and he just kept reminding us, stay positive. And that's such an important message right now because, you know, you have obviously the coronavirus, and you have a country that's at odds, and you have so many things that on a daily basis are stressful and scary, and there's a lot of people out there that default into anger and default into negativity. And what Mo kept mentioning and kept talking about and kept messaging was, you have a choice to stay positive. And boy, Mo was dealt the toughest hand you could be dealt. He had a growth on his retina when he was 9 months old, a cancerous growth. They had to remove it. It left him blind. He could not see after the age of 9 months. He lived his entire life blind and had 3 serious bouts with cancer that he beat up until this last one, which unfortunately spread to his brain. And he spent 75% of his life in hospitals. And never a day went by that Mo was defeated or negative or angry or sad or thinking that why me? He just woke up every day and said, today's a good day. Now, I know these times are hard, and I don't expect everybody to wake up every single day and say this is a great day, because that's not realistic. But when I look at beautiful things like nature and lakes and sunsets and green grass and fresh air, or I meet somebody that's really friendly, or I see something on the internet that really makes me feel good, or I think about Mo, it makes me realize that every single day around us, even though there's a lot of negativity, you can find the positive, and that's what Mo did every single day. And that circumstances don't define you, that you define your circumstances, and that you define your attitude. And if Mo every single day in the middle of that found a way to be positive and appreciative and happy, I mean, what excuse do the rest of us have? So I think that we're all here because of that. If you want to learn more about Mo, hear more about Mo, I would encourage you to do a couple of things. Go to 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore's Big Mo Show. They named it the Big Mo Show, not the Little Mo Show, Big Mo Show. And this was from, I want to say, July 1st. But the link is still up. All 4 hours are up, and this is 4.5 hours of Mo hosting his own radio show. Jeremy Kahn is along with him, and it is beautiful. It is one of the most beautiful things that I've ever listened to on radio, and probably the most beautiful thing I've ever listened to in sports talk radio, which inspires me to do better sports talk radio. And I wrote a piece about this. I wrote a column about it. In that column is a link, so if you just Google DA, Lil Mo, you'll probably see the story from CBSSportsRadio.com, my column, and you'll see the link in there. Those 4.5 hours will be the best 4.5 hours you ever listen to. And without commercials, it's probably more like 3. John Harbaugh calls in, Buck Showalter calls in, Roman Reigns calls in, Ray Lewis calls in, and a cast of thousands just saying thank you. It'll make you feel amazing. And it was such a wonderful gift that Jeremy and 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore gave Lil Mo. And I think if you want to also listen to this morning's show, our DA show also had a lot of classic moments of Mo. You know, there was a lot of his classic moments, his laughter, his making fun of Mraz, his calls. You know, we played a lot of that. So if you want to hear some old school Mo from the DA show, then that's a good place to start as well. That's this morning show that's also podcastable. But you can just Google Mo Gabba and you'll read every single news story from the Baltimore Sun to all of the news channels in Baltimore, because he's a hero, and they're talking about a statue, and they're talking about renaming Utah Street and the ballpark areas, and just how extraordinary is that. So I wish I could read all of the comments. They just keep coming in, but some suggestions on 12 DAs of Mo, which would be awesome as well, and that, you know, hearing him was the best thing that you had heard in a long time, and I appreciate all of those sentiments. So I won't keep everybody too long, but I want to also remind you that just by knowing about Mo, you get to kind of channel your inner Mo, and I'm going to do that, and I hope you guys follow me in doing that, because yesterday was such a momentous day. Momentous. He might have left our presence, but he went upstairs where there's more work to be done, I'm sure, for Mo, and to keep blessing us with his spirit and his positivity and his laughter in a different way. And he was inducted into the Orioles Hall of Fame, which, I mean, a 14-year-old got into the Orioles Hall of Fame alongside Frank Robinson and Brooks Robinson and Jim Palmer and Cal Ripken and Eddie Murray. Here is Lil Mo in their Hall of Fame, which happened yesterday, and the Orioles, you know, announced it at his bedside, so he knew what was happening, and he knew that it happened. So tonight I am cracking a perfect day Pilsner, because every time that Mo called in was a perfect day, and I encourage you all to raise a glass to Mo as well. And we're going to post this video. Cap's going to do me a solid, as he always does, and he's going to post this video on Facebook and on YouTube, so you guys can share this as well with maybe friends or family or people that you think might be positively affected by Mo. But his message was always, stay positive, always stay positive. And I will just leave you with this. When I was in Baltimore with him, and he was in his bed, you know, he couldn't move very well. He could get up to go to the bathroom, but he was really bedridden. And, you know, we had just kind of played video games, and I had brought him down a water gun, and so he was squirting me with the water gun. I had brought down also a whistler Nerf, so that he could hear the Nerf be thrown. So we were throwing the Nerf around, and he could hear it. And I said, you know, Mo, it was a great day. Would you mind if I did a short interview with you? And I just wanted Mo's kind of wisdom on tape. And Mo's reaction was not, it's been a long day, I'm kind of tired. Mo had to take a nap in the middle of the day because I think, you know, the illness was taking root quite a bit. He said, yeah, where's the microphone? So I hooked up the microphone to his shirt, and he laid in bed, and I just said, Mo, is being positive just who you are, or is it a choice? And, you know, Mo said, it's both. It's who I am, but also every single day I just make sure that I stay positive. I said, boy, you know, you never think about happiness that way, but it's within all of our grasps. And this is a young man that had less than a month to live and was bedridden, and had a lot of things that he could have been mad about. And he just said, everybody should be positive. Everybody should be positive. Always be positive. So that's going to be my slogan from now on. So he means the world to me. I love him very much. And tonight, a perfect day to celebrate Mo. Thank you, everybody, for being with us. And it meant a lot for me personally, because I can't really quite do this alone without you guys. So, cheers, Lil Mo. We love you. Thanks for blessing us. Thanks, everybody, for being with me. To many, many more years of celebrating Mo Gabba. Thank you, everybody, for the well wishes. Thanks, everybody, for the love. Thanks, everybody, for expanding the reach of Mo. And thank you for being who you guys are, because